You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome to another edition of the OHL in 60 podcast with Colin Ward. I'm Reece Doumani. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. Had to take it off. Just there was no time to record a show.
Yeah.
Dinners galore. Dinners aplenty. We were stuffed.
Birthdays.
Yeah, there was that too. Yeah, it was a busy last couple of weeks, but we are back for this one. So I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for tuning in wherever you're watching or listening to us. Of course, on the Armchair GM Sports Network, you're seeing the video form and any audio platform. Thanks so much for listening in. We've got 2 weeks worth of stuff to cover. So we might as well get right into it and kind of give you a rundown of where we're going to go for the next 60 minutes before Colin Ward gets ready for a Jays game. But OHL Rivalry Week got wrapped up this past weekend. We're going to touch on that and give our thoughts on the Rivalry Week. The OHL live draft going to Kingston for the draft. All right.
Good opportunity.
All right. Yeah. So we'll discuss that. That'll probably be one of the longer segments, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah. I just had two ideas right off the top of the introduction, Reece. Not even written
Colin
down.
Ward to announce the first overall pick.
Oh, gosh. You imagine that? Hey, represent the Bulldogs.
But, man, you know what's wild? You know what's wild? That can't be scripted either. It's probably scripted, but Colin Ward's tough with, it's tough with scripts.
I don't like scripts.
You just got to go with it.
You just got to wing it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's listening to shows that are scripted, unless it's like, obviously there's some shows that got to be scripted for sure, but podcasts that are scripted, you can tell the difference and it sucks.
Yeah.
I hate scripted, just because it's not natural, say your opinion. That's radio. That's the best part about talking sports. I say dumb things all the time.
Share your opinion. We can still do that.
Well, now we can.
Wow.
I just declared it. So, yeah, there we go.
All right, Colin Ward approved.
Yep. The Delhi, Ontario said it's okay. So it's okay.
We'll get to the OHL Players of the Week as well. That'll be part of that this opening segment. Dave Lewis, longtime official, retires after a 16-year career, so we're just gonna touch on that as well. And then as we get into that second segment, Luchanko and Martin sort of making headlines at both levels, the junior level and the NHL level, because there's a lot of Nashville fans that want to see Mr. Martin in the lineup, but they're not getting that. Luchanko, I believe I saw a tweet that he was back in the lineup on Monday. So again, whether that changed or not, who knows? But some decisions to be made for both Luchanko and Martin. We'll touch on that. The Central Scouting grades have been released for the NHL Central Scouting, but we'll touch on the OHLers specifically. And then the updated OHL Power Rankings. We've got a new leader or new number one for the OHL Power Rankings this season. So we'll get to that to wrap up the show. But Colin Ward, let's start with OHL Rivalry Week. And
the best.
There's certain matchups where and it's tough, right? With the division
100%.
rivals, that's what you really want out of this, I think. But 5 teams in a division, that is impossible to happen mathematically. So you have some cross-division matchups, and we saw one in Brantford and Brampton, Colin. Even saw cross-conference rivalries between the Niagara Ice Dogs and Erie Otters, who they split their home and home. So, and then Erie had to finish off at 3-3. in Brampton. Also, Brampton finishing a 3-3. So, it's. What did you think of OHL Rivalry weekend, Colin?
I loved it. I think the commissioner's office did a spectacular job with this. And it's one of those things that year one, see how it goes. It's like the prospects game last year, right? Like we had to adapt. There's no prospects game. Like we had to make it, like obviously there was, but we had to evolve here with the league, with the cases there with the CHL versus the NDP team. But I really enjoyed this rivalry week. It's especially early on in the season, you get that opportunity to grow the game. You grow the attendance, right? Attendance early on in the year for some teams, it's been low. You watch games and you see the attendance being what it is, right? Like it's hard. Baseball playoffs going on, Sunday games during the football season seem like you can sell all day long, 24/7, and you're still not going to be able to advertise enough to get people into the game against football season on the Sundays. It's tough. I mean, look at St. Catharines, look at Niagara with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, that was one of the things that they took out with the Sunday home games just back in the day, just because of the Bills. And the Bills weren't even good at the time.
Wow.
The Ice Dogs were better.
And also the owners of the Ice Dogs at the time had Bills season tickets. That's another reason why there was not a home game. That's the real reason there were no home games on Sundays. But
I thought it was a good business decision.
It is. I think it is. That's the same with Flint and Saginaw. If they have an opportunity to push back the game because the Lions are playing, they're going to do it. Spit's probably thinking the same thing. Like, Sarnia? I don't know if Sarnia would. Maybe they would, but I mean, Erie? Smart business decision for sure. Erie, for sure.
The Steelers.
Although we lost to the friggin' Bengals, that was terrible.
Joe Flacco, the best 3-week quarterback a year. You play him 3 weeks from now, you win the game by 3 touchdowns. You play him 3 weeks from now, you win the game by 3 touchdowns. He's the best 3-week. He's a 3-week hero. It's like that all the time. Hey, I know that. He was 351 quarterbacks ago here in Denver. So it's been great.
I mean, a team with real defense wins that game. Pittsburgh does not. Our defense are a bunch of pretenders. I don't know what the heck's going on, but
our offense
a little rough.
Our offense on Sunday in Denver went trick-or-treating, thought it was Halloween. I think there was a bunch of fans that got a chance to play offense. In the fourth quarter, with 10 minutes left, we got to play it. We got a real offense out there. So I agree with you. Football is frustrating. Losing in football is the worst. Winning in football is the best. There's no middle ground in football season. But
Yep, absolutely. So back to the rivalry week, and Colin, we can speak specifically just based off of what we had going on the Friday and Saturday with the Steelheads and Bulldogs going at it. 7-3 and 9-3 were the games, and it was spirited. And I think that's the main part of it, right? It was a rough game on Friday in Brampton at the CAA Center. Ryder Bolton received a game misconduct for some words that he exchanged with an official. So there was that. A ton of penalties, like I said. I think there were a couple other 10-minute misconducts handed out too. A little bit calmer on Saturday, being 9-0 after 40 minutes. Yeah, it's bound to be. But there's still a fight. So that's probably the main purpose of it. Not necessarily fighting, but you want to see the rough stuff. That's where the Oshawas and Peterboroughs come into play. The Kingston, Ottawas, right? Yeah, Flint, Saginaw, absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna start with. I'll start with Brampton. I think that Brampton's potential. It was nice to see them play twice this week in person. That was nice. Brampton's potential is interesting. I don't know what the skill level is on that team, and I mean that with the utmost respect. Any Brampton fans listening, I mean that with the most respect. I don't know what the skill level is. I don't think I'll just say it. I don't think they're a highly skilled team. They're not going to go dangle through you. But I tell you this much right now, they're going to forecheck the crap out of you. Their game on Friday night was a perfect home game. They just got outskilled. They played a perfect home game, and the first period was horrible. But the second period, they came out, they forechecked hard. They were hard on the forecheck. They were physical. They dictated the tone physically. And if they do that, it led to 3 goals for them. And I think that if they can play games like that, they're going to steal wins. And I think they can win any game on any given night. And plus, that's a hard arena to play in Brampton. I said it earlier on. Like I said, utmost respect, Brampton. This is my opinion. It's an opinion show this week. But sometimes you go to Brampton, it's like a library. It's quiet zone. It's like the quiet ghost train, and on the ghost train, you're in the quiet bus.
upper deck.
Yeah. So sometimes it's like that. But you know what? Credit to the Brampton Steelheads. They play to their arena. They play to their team. That, like, if they're going to forecheck like that, that's a miserable place to play. And like I said, they're working their butts off. They're trying to get people in the stands there. And like I said, them moving from Mississauga to Brampton isn't for attendance. And that's nothing. I hope there's a day though when I see that arena packed. I really do. I hope there's a day, and I hope I can see that day come here. But I just think that Brampton, if they're going to play that like how they did in the second period, in the second half of that game, like they did Friday, they're going to be fine. They're going to be successful. I don't know how successful they're going to be, but they're going to steal some games, and they're not going to be a bottom feeder in the Ontario Hockey League. I learned that this weekend. Peterborough, Oshawa. Oh my gosh. That was expected. I think that was when you saw those two teams, and it's too bad they weren't back to back. And too bad Oshawa, they had to sneak that Kingston game in there.
Yeah.
But oh my, like, you knew it was going to be physical, but you see the Young hit early on Sunday night, dangerous hit, the Taylor scratch, all the rumors surrounding him. The Petes, I mean, they're down 3-0. They battle back on Sunday night. They get the win earlier on in the week. I was impressed with that matchup. Oshawa battles hard. They're a physical team, and it's weird. You look at their stats right now. You look at Wang's plus minus. You look at their team right now in Oshawa, and you're thinking, you hear all this outside noise about how Oshawa, it's a rebuild year, and yeah, I bet it is a rebuild year. But Griffin looks good. Owen Griffin's flying out there, man. Sunday night, like, there was a little bit of a pick play there on his goal, but he was flying out there. His speed in the transition game, and when he gets space, if you're going to give Owen Griffin space in the neutral zone, he's going to take advantage of that, and all of a sudden 2 strides, he's on your goalie. His first 2 steps are unbelievable. He's probably got the best first couple steps on the Generals, and they got a few good skaters there. But you look at their roster, you see Griffin there, you see Danford there, you see Wang there. He's a drafted player. They have potential there to steal games, and I've noticed that, like, this weekend, teams like from outside sources, from outside media, teams that are quote unquote supposed to struggle this year didn't look too bad this weekend. I mean, obviously the game against Kingston for Oshawa wasn't great, and Kingston looks unbelievable. But I watched that game and I'm thinking, Oshawa doesn't look too bad. It just needs some saves. I mean, Saturday for sure against Kingston, they can buy one early, but I like the looks of Peterborough, Oshawa, Brampton. I mean, those are going to be, when those teams play head to head this year, those are going to be physical games. I mean, Peterborough at Marintat, I mean, that kid's a weapon. Right. Man, he's a weapon. We saw it night one in Brantford this year. I mean, that kid's going to be a weapon when he's 20. Like, they got to control that a little bit better. I think that's one of the things from the Peterborough standpoint. They actually got to control that. You can't be full leash every night like that. We saw that in person with Arbor Jacki and Jay McKee and Hamilton at the time. We saw that how Jay had to be on him. Peterborough, you got to be on him there. Like, the one thing is with his game, I'm so interested in watching him play because, like, he's got the size, right? And you can see the tenacity. No pun intended with the naming, but like you see the potential there. But man, every time, like every scrum you look at it, boom, he's there. Then you see the Strohawk sucker punch there, drops the glove and just a one punch. Like, you can tell there's a lot going on in Peterborough right now, and I think you got to get a little bit of control behind the bench. Maybe it's the minute spreading and stuff going on there, but I hope that Peterborough, if they can contain that a little bit, they have some weapons on the back end that are tough to play against. And I guarantee you, if you're going into Peterborough, you know those weapons on the back end. You know they're going to be physical with you. You just hope that they can engage in other ways. If they can bring it out in other ways and an extra skill set. We talk about goal scorers have to be better defenders to make the NHL.
Yeah.
A tough defenseman like that, hopefully you can get a little bit more offense, get a little bit more to your game other than that. But I tell you, they got some weapons on the back end in Peterborough, and so does Oshawa too with Sandu. We know what he does back there. Danford blocking shots. Like, they got, like, that was a fun one. That was my favorite game to watch, the Sunday night game. I mean, 6-4, the final score. Like, those are games you want to watch. Like, that was fun. Props to the Ontario Hockey League, Brian Commissioner, and the rest of the commissioner's office. That was unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, London Kitchener did had its moments as well. 6-1 London in Kitchener, and then Kitchener wins 3-2 in overtime in London. So,
and we knew that Sunday game wasn't going to be a 6-1 shellacking like it was on Friday. You knew the Rangers were going to come out. I mean, you see the little bit. I mean, no talk on social media, but you see the posting on social media. You know, the Kitchener Rangers and the London Knights. And people with the team, you know, they love to get those wins in each other's arenas. Always nicer to visit those barns. I'm sure coming out of Kitchener on Friday night for London, their bus was painted blue and red, and I'm sure it was green yesterday or on Sunday for the Rangers trying to leave.
Yeah.
So those are always fun rivalries to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. Next big ticket item could be the biggest newsbreaker of the last week or two. The OHL draft is going to be live in person. Sounds like it's going to be in Kingston, according to Jeff Merrick, which he's a pretty trusted source. So let's get into that discussion because we've already talked about attendance issues, I guess is the best way to put that for the Kingston Frontenacs. And don't get me wrong. I've never been to the venue. Colin, you say it's a nice venue.
I've gotten corrected on it.
I'm going to trust you.
But there was some conversation to be had.
Yep. Yeah. It's, photos I've seen, it looks really nice. Kingston's got a lot of history in this league as well. So that makes it even better. I guess let's start with having it in Kingston. Then we'll get to the event itself. But to go to Kingston for the first one, what do you think?
I think it was down at Kingston and Niagara. But like Memorial Cup teams.
What, the two teams that did? Man.
Exactly. No, I know nothing about Niagara. I was just saying because the two Mem Cup teams, it had to have been the two teams eliminated. But all pun intended, honestly, Niagara would have been a good host as well, a good runner-up, just because the area they have in the border with the NCAA agreement now, more access to the States. But Kingston has access to New York. But I think it'll be okay. Obviously there's going to be kinks. Kingston is the first host. It's a nice venue. It's a venue that definitely could do a good job hosting it. I think the one end would be getting the Zamboni door to have the stage, so they come in on like right there in the one, like the seating, because I thought it would be a little bit of a bigger venue for year one. And it's similar to like how I said, if it was in Niagara, you could recline the one end of the seats there and have the stage right there at the draft. That's kind of where Kingston, I don't know how they're going to do that, with the stage and how they'll set it up. But I think all in all, it's a good spot. I'm excited to see what they do. I mean, it's a wait and see. It's so early to critique the draft yet. Yeah. I'm excited for it to be live. It's a great experience to have it live. I know Reece, you've been to a draft before in the National Hockey League level. We see what the Q did. The OHL was around the Q draft this year. There were representatives from the OHL in the Quebec draft this year watching it, watching the groundwork and how to run an event like this in person. Draft floor is going to be interesting. Is the trade window open? That would be incredible.
Oh, man.
The amount of movement that's going to happen at this draft, man, is going to be exciting. Yeah. So that's the part that I'm excited for. That if there's going to be those rumors, definitely I'm not moving the first round pick thing. So good luck with that. We're not going to see like the big NHL type moves where first rounds are going here, but you might see player moves. You might see jockeying for positioning for sure, which is going to be fun. You might see that 12th round pick for a 12th round pick in next year's draft, stuff like that. But there's going to be fun moves. There's definitely going to be. It's going to be fun. Like another thing I'm interested in, how many people are actually going to be able to attend the draft? How many players are actually going to be able to attend? Like day 2 of the draft, we've been in draft rooms before. Day 2 of the draft is a long day.
Yeah.
You're going to have to shorten that up. The draft, like we see it all the time. I mean, the draft shows and the processes are going to have to speed up, and we're going to have more engagement if it's going to be that long of a day. Well, because they're the players. I mean, that's long. If I'm ranked, I don't think I'm going to the draft if I'm ranked from the 8th round and to the 15th. I'm not going, I don't think.
Well, and the NHL's like that too, right? If you're 4th round or higher, not a ton of players go. They might, but it's not, I've got to be there. It's, I think maybe we'll go 50. There. We'll see what's going on. So then Yeah, let's get into that because I've got some thoughts on what we could see or potentially should see, or what I want to see. I should rephrase that. Number one, let's not have that. And then again, I hope teams are in person for this. I hope they've got tables set up with the big logo and everybody's sitting around there. If it's just a live event and they're calling in remote, I hope we don't have that awkward video room where they talk to the GMs over video stream. That looked really awkward for a lot of players, especially when you couldn't hear. Like the connection wasn't working as well. So that I hope we don't see that. But yeah, I can't wait to see the big screens in behind. I'm sure for the players it'd be awesome to see your a highlight video play when you're walking up to the stage to grab the jersey, take the photo. That would be really cool. I think there's a lot that the OHL can do with this. And again, it's going to be year one. Will there be kinks? Sure, probably. But on the other hand, I think this is another way for the league to just be better than it already is. And it's might be, well, it's fine the way it is. And it's like, well, no, you have to innovate somehow, right? And I think this is a really, really great way to do it. I'll ask you this question. As commissioner of the Ontario Hockey League, does Brian Crawford receive the automatic Gary Bettman boos, or just for being a commissioner? Or
previously, for sure, there would have been.
Or is this a round of applause for doing this? And rivalry weekend, whether that was his idea or not, or starting to see all the new things around the OHL, like
100%.
I don't know. I feel like that's just the obligatory boo for the commissioner, but also too, like, no reason to boo Brian Crawford.
No, and it's only been a year and a half now. Like, and like I said, by saying previous commissioner, there would have been boos. Yeah, because Dave Branch was there for 45 seasons. There's a relationship there. There's teams there. Like, I don't think the relationship's at that level yet. And I mean, Dave Branch did a lot of good things for the Ontario Hockey League. I'm not critiquing him at all. I respect what he's done. Brian Crawford has done a lot. I mean, the transformation in the OHL, the amount they've evolved here over the last year and a half is incredible. You look back and, I mean, there's still a lot of kinks. There is still a lot of kinks, but you look at the TV. I mean, there's a lot of problems with Flow Hockey, for sure, with Flow TV. There's a lot, but it's not perfect. There's a lot of production that needs to get better, 100%. And I truly believe when what we saw here in the track record of the last year and a half, there's a really good opportunity here for the league to continue to evolve in a positive manner. Mm-hmm. I think those will come. And that's what I'm excited for with this draft. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great thing for kids to be able to go to the draft. I think for the players, it's really good. The only negative I have from this is about it moving to June. I love that it's moving to June, by the way. I love that. The seasons are actually completely done. I think that's great news. But the only negative I have on the flip side, players don't get to go to a playoff game now after they're drafted. Longtime listeners of this show, remember having Gavin Bryant on here talking about, shout out to Greg, his father, who made the T-shirt for him, his draft T-shirt.
Oh, yeah. That was awesome.
Players going to places after they're getting drafted, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is cool. I remember as a kid, I remember when Dalton Duhart got drafted by the London Knights. He sat beside us at the game, and
that's cool.
I remember it was a year the London Knights got beat out to Erie. So the year after they won the Mem Cup, and they got beat out in 7 games. And they got beat out to Erie in 7 games. And I remember they had a comeback, and I think it was game 6 or game 4. They had a big comeback in the third period, and Erie was all over them. Then they come back, and the Bud at the time is going crazy. It's a mecca of junior hockey. And I remember my dad leaning over to him and goes, "Think about next year being on the other side of this." And you could see the look on his face, like, "Oh, this is great!" And that's the best part. We talked, not to get too Bulldog oriented, but we talked with Gavin Christie, David Buckman, Jeremy Freeman in the summer on the Dogcast, and we talked about them experiencing the playoff game last year at Civic Center, and it's signing autographs for the first time at those events. So that's the stuff that I'll miss, because it's less stories we're gonna get, but there's still going to be,
But
there's still meetings, there's still visits, teams visit. I mean, we witnessed a Belchez visit in person before. So like, there's going to be visits, there's going to be game visits. So it's going to be exciting at that side, but it's not the same after your draft. You get the puck drop and stuff like that.
Yeah. So then, and I'll start by saying this: I'm not pushing for Brian Crawford to get booed. We had a great conversation with him during the after the press conference for the sale of the Bulldogs. Brian Crawford's awesome. He should not be booed. It's just every commissioner gets booed, so I feel like that's an automatic. But I think, I agree with you about that, not getting them to a playoff game, because I think a lot of teams, minus Brantford, because we don't have suites at the Civic Center, rent out a suite from the building and throw all of their draft prospects in there. Or I guess now team prospects at that point. But at this point, after the draft in June, does that allow a team or all 20 to do some sort of draft class reveal or unveiling or meet and greet or something like that? I'm sure if they could get it sponsored, they'd probably do it. But, is that an opportunity, do you think, for teams to be like, hey, come out to GFL Memorial Gardens to see the future of the Sioux Greyhounds. Time is this. There'll be autographs, food, prizes, I don't know, whatever. You can make an event out of it. I think that'd be pretty cool.
What's the timeline like, too? Like, what's the time? Like, I agree. I think it's an extra way to get creative in your marketing strategy with teams. 100%. I agree with that. And I think it's a good idea. It's going to be interesting to see, because remember before when guys get drafted and they get in the car and take off right to the place they're drafted? Yeah. That's going to be interesting too, to see how that goes, right? Because like, you're going to Kingston for the draft. Everyone's there with you in the front office. You're going to meet everybody there when you get to go to the facility and see it for the first time, right? So that's something too that I'm interested to hear about. I mean, teams are going to figure that out. That's logistics stuff. It'll be simple to do at the time, but everyone's in Kingston, and we got to take off to Windsor. So that'll be that part will be fun to see how that goes, or Saginaw, Flint, like that's a long drive from Kingston if you're a first round pick, but worth it for sure. It'll be a fun drive when you get drafted and all your friends and family are there. But I'm excited. I really am excited to see how this goes.
Yeah. So am I, and I think there's a prime opportunity for an OHL Fan Fest before the draft as well. I think that'd be really cool to see also. So
maybe
let's get to. Sorry, go ahead.
Maybe we'll get the Armchair budget out there with BC on the line and do a live show from the draft on the Friday night.
Get the tablecloth out.
Yeah, get the tablecloth, get the mics, shoot the breeze.
Up next for today's show is the Players of the Week around the Ontario Hockey League. That's why we are always thankful to record Monday nights and not Monday during the day, because it makes it a little bit easier. We'll start with the OHL Prospect of the Week from the GOHL. Reed Strauss, goaltender for the Elmira Sugar Kings. One of the best names by far around in junior hockey. 2 games for him, 2-0. Goals against average of 1 even. Save percentage at .962. 50 saves in a couple of victories for him. So he is the OHL Prospect of the Week. As for the Rookie of the Week from the North Bay Battalion, it's Ryder Cali. 3 games for him, 3 goals, 1 assist, and 4 points for North Bay. And Goaltender of the Week, we're going to go to Sarnia for this one. Patrick Quinlan, 2 games played, 1-0-0-1, 293 goals against average save percentage of .920, 69 saves. To hand Windsor just their second regulation loss of the season. And by the way, taking Windsor to overtime in the first part of that home and home in a game which Sarnia led 3-1 too. They could have swept that home and home series.
And I feel bad about not talking about them on the rivalry weekend. That was an underrated rivalry weekend matchup. Sarnia-Windsor. And the way Quinlan played, he was the hero of the weekend. Getting the win like that against Windsor, especially like you mentioned, they could have had 2. They go to OT, but wow, what a performance out of Quinlan. I mean, that was wild that they got the win, and big for the Sarnia Sting, because that's another team. And I mentioned the Eastern Conference teams. You want to talk about in the West? Sarnia gets a win like that, they have a big weekend, right? You get 3 points against Windsor. I mean, you got to be feeling good coming into this weekend. Friday night playing Brantford, right? Like they got some big matchups here right away in October. Like, you got to be excited for that after the 2 games against Windsor to face Brantford on Friday night. You got to be excited for that if you're a Sarnia Sting fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, they're going to see this man front and center. The OHL Player of the Week is Adam Banach. 2 games for him, 1 goal and 5 assists for a total of 6 points. He was also a +2. And I remember calling us having this discussion on the Dogcast about it. Who's going to join Van Acker and O'Brien on line number 1? Then they make the deal for the 2nd overall pick in the import draft. Announce it's Adam Banach. We're 10 games into the Bulldogs season. Adam Banach's that 3rd guy to play with Merrick and Jake. And, Jake is definitely the passer of the 3. He will always look to defer and try and set someone up for a goal. He says he wants to work on his shooting. We'll see.
6 goals.
Yeah, Merrick, shooter, for sure. Banach can kind of do both. I think he's got one heck of a shot. He's got hands, but he's also very good at distributing the puck around and sharing it and setting up his teammates as well. So I think it's no surprise 6 points for him in 2 games to be OHL Player of the Week.
Yeah, the one pass he made on Friday night on the give and go with Merrick Van Acker, that was a work of art. I mean, Adam Banach sees the ice so well, and he's so good with the puck. It was a matter of time before he gets these honors. I mean, you look at the plus-minus leaders as well in the Ontario Hockey League right now. He's right up there. Adam Banach's been great for the Bulldogs. Everything and more for them. And that trade moving back there, or moving up at the import draft, looks to be well worth it right now for the Bulldogs as well in the import draft. But yeah, plus 14 for Adam Banach this year as well. Like, he's done everything. I mean, he scored the highlight reel goals this year, and I think the goals are going to come for sure. But you look at that line that he's playing on. I mean, him and Jake O'Brien, the dynamic ones, and the things they can do with the puck. I mean, it's impressive to see. It's definitely a treat at nights when they're humming. They're hard to beat, so it'll be fun to see how this thing keeps going. I mean, Sarnia is going to be hungry for them on Friday, so it'll be interesting. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what Sarnia does. I think if you're the Bulldogs, I mean, you cannot sleep. There's going to be adversity in the season. They're going to hit adversity. They haven't lost a game in regulation yet. They have their first 3-3 coming up this weekend. They're going to hit adversity this year at some point. Sarnia is going to be tough on Friday night, and I cannot wait to see what happens. They have a tough schedule. Sarnia and home with Oshawa for a 3-3 weekend. That's a tough one. A division game, and Sarnia coming off a big weekend against Windsor. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a 7:00 game the Saturday, and then a 6:00 game on the Sunday in Oshawa. So yeah, that'll be tough. And speaking of Oshawa, when they hosted Peterborough on the back half of their rivalry series matchup, that marked the end of the career in the Ontario Hockey League for referee Dave Lewis. That was his 554th OHL game at the Tribute Community Center. Generals honored him. They did a pregame ceremony at center ice, ceremonial face-off, everything for him. And just looking at some of these highlights as a referee, I think he's pretty well checked every box, maybe except the Stanley Cup final. But 65 NHL games between 2012 and 2017, 500-plus AHL games, refereed in 2 Memorial Cups, one in Mississauga that was in 2011, and then Kamloops in 2023. Part of 3 OHL Championship Series in 2011, 22, and 23. Top Prospects games, 3 of those. 5 Canada-Russia Series games. I miss that. Can we bring that back? Me too.
When I saw that, I'm like, oh, man, I miss that.
Yeah, but just looking at it right now, that's cool.
Yeah, that pretty well checks every box. Like I said, maybe except the Stanley Cup Finals or Stanley Cup playoffs. But other than that, yeah, he's pretty well all got it there. So congratulations to Dave on his career and his retirement, and hope there are many beverages enjoyed post-career.
Yeah, I mean, Dave Lewis, you always knew, like, his game. The one thing I respect about his games is they never lost control, especially in a time right now. It feels like with officiating where there's a lot of lost control games. I can honestly say I've never had a lot of problems with Dave Lewis when he officiated the games, and that's probably the best compliment I can give a ref at this point, from my opinions on some of the officials. But he's been great, and I wish him nothing but the best here in his future endeavors.
Yeah, and I'm sure it was pretty cool for his partners for that game. Jesse Wilmot was his other referee, his partner, and then the two men lining were Spencer Knox and Dustin McCrank, who, by the way, if you've seen that photo at center ice, they just sneak in the middle there. I shouldn't say just sneak in, but you can see them right in the middle there, and so that's a great photo.
Yeah, you have Conrad Ashe off in the distance. Yeah, the two general managers kind of partially covered.
Kind of there, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Roger Hunt's definitely covered. Ben Danford's in the way as we critique the picture.
He's going to sit for a game.
Yeah. Oh, and I was waiting for a fan. Oh, they got two sticks like that with a team on it for officials, but come on. Like, come on. But no, it's pretty cool. That was a nice gesture too by the Generals with the stick like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that marks our not our break, almost our break, I should say. We've got some media notes to go through before we do hit the break, because a lot goes on in 2 weeks, and by a lot I mean trades. So 4 of them to be exact. So Zach Wilson goes from the North Bay Battalion to the Saginaw Spirit for a 12th rounder in 2026. Jack O'Brien, not Jake. Jack O'Brien goes from Sarnia to Sault Ste. Marie for an 11th round pick in 2028. Brantford sends Patrick Babin, who's going to be a stud in this league one day. Goes to the Guelph Storm for Oshawa's 2nd round pick in 2028 and Guelph's 3rd round pick in 2029. And then praise the gods for broadcasters everywhere, because Sault Ste. Marie sends Brady T. Smith to the Flint Firebirds in exchange for Jeremy Martin. So let's start with Zach Wilson, Colin, from going to North Bay to Saginaw. That's quite a move from Northern Ontario to the heart of Michigan. What are the Saginaw Spirit getting in Mr. Wilson?
Big body, good two-way guy. I think it's a good opportunity to play in Saginaw. We may have touched on this last week, because I just going over my notes from last week. I have Zach Wilson in there. Big body. And I think it's a good opportunity for him to play in Saginaw.
Yeah. Jack O'Brien to the Sioux Greyhounds. Again, you go from southwestern Ontario to way, way, way up north, where they're probably going to see snow next week. What are the Greyhounds getting in Jack O'Brien?
You know, Jack O'Brien's going to be good for Sioux. I'm excited to see how Sault Ste. Marie can utilize him. I think that part's going to be fun. I mean, low risk, high reward season time, right? Like the trades.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to give up a lot. You're going to take the flyer on the guy. You're still building your team. We're a month into the season now. And I think that we're going to see teams really do that now. Like they had their kind of flyers on guys, and that's lineups are coming together.
Yeah. Patrick Babin goes to Guelph for a couple of picks that will probably not be Brantford's by the trade deadline. I have a funny feeling they're going to be elsewhere eventually, as the Bulldogs will probably be involved in a couple moves. But Patrick Babin, I mean, I watched him all year in Junior B last year. He got an opportunity early on to get in a few games and kind of show what he's got. But you know, in the end, it's pretty similar to Joshua Avery, where there's just too many ducks in the pond. And Patrick Babin was the 8th defenseman for the Brantford Bulldogs. So he gets a great opportunity in Guelph. They could be in the Mem Cup next year for hosting it. And a lot of people don't think so. But Patrick Babin's going to be part of that next core for the Guelph Storm when they're ready to compete for a championship again. He'll be a big part of that on the blue line. So for Patrick Babin, Colin, and I think you can agree with this, he's got a very, very high ceiling, and Guelph Storm fans should be pretty excited about this guy.
Yeah, he's got a good opportunity. Obviously, you saw last year he ran the power play there in Brantford on the GO. He's an offensive gifted talent for sure back there. It'll be exciting to see how his defensive game comes out. I mean, it's early on in his career. I mean, the Bulldogs have received a ton of calls on Patrick Babin throughout the last month. Like since week 1 of the season, since everybody started to come back, I'd say Adam Juracek coming back really started to escalate those talks
for sure, for
how serious it was. And I think that with where positioning is for the future too with the Bulldogs, it's like Josh Avery's trade a couple weeks ago with Brampton. It's a tough trade to make because Patrick Babin's going to be a good player in the Ontario Hockey League for sure, and you hope all the best for him. And it's a tough hockey trade to make. It's a hockey business trade, which it's tough to make. And not to get two Bulldogs on you guys, but for non-Bulldog fans, but it's funny. We spoke with Jay McKee about this a couple seasons ago about the Jordan Donovan trade to Saginaw. Those are tough trades because if we drafted you and if we have you here, we like you. We like your game. We like you as a person. We don't want to move you. So it's one of the that really reminded me of that move. I mean, it's a tough move, right? He's a young player in the league, but for Guelph, I mean, you got a good one. Guelph, I mean, you got to keep putting pieces together like that if you're going to want to host some M Cup next year. Keep putting piece by piece together in those motions. Patrick Babin next year at 18 years old, right? You're a mid to veteran player in the Ontario Hockey League. That's a good move for them. It's exciting to see what they can accomplish there in Guelph here in the Mem Cup. It's getting serious roster wise.
Yep, absolutely. And then last one for us, the Sioux Greyhounds sending Brady T. Smith to Flint for Jeremy Martin. And let's start with Brady Smith. Other than giving broadcasters a breather and allowing them to exhale, but what are the Flint Firebirds getting in Brady Smith?
A lot of skill. I'm excited to see the opportunity in Flint. I think with Sioux, when you look at the potential of Sioux and what's happening with another Martin in Nashville right now, obviously now they're going to have two Martins, but different first names.
Yeah.
I think that with the opportunity in Sioux, and Sioux's deeper than I think a lot of people thought. And now it's a good hockey trade. Martin's going to get an opportunity to fit that Sault Ste. Marie system. I'm excited to see what can happen here.
I was going to say, a lot of the chatter around social media seemed like it was just two guys that needed a change.
Yeah.
Need a change of scenery, see if it'll kickstart their seasons or careers, I guess would be a better way to put it. But it'll be interesting to see. Definitely new setting. Michigan to Northern Ontario. So geographically,
easier trades.
Yeah, but still in division. So you're going to see your old teammates quite a bit, and I'm sure that'll be exciting as well. So that's kind of your update, I guess, on trades around the Ontario Hockey League over the last couple of weeks. And at that point, we will take our first break. When we come back, there's still a ton to go through. We've got about 20 minutes left or so, but some few more topics to cover here on the OHL in 60 podcast.
Butt ends are hockey stick grips, specifically for the top of the stick, designed to replace traditional clock tape. They're made of rubber and offer a more consistent and comfortable grip than tape, aiming to improve performance and reduce slippage. Butt ends are an alternative to regular stick tape that provide enhanced grip and comfort, are durable, reusable, and consistent with the ability to reduce vibration. The grips are available in a variety of styles, designs, colors, and even have options for specific player names. At Butt Ends, they are committed to providing the world's highest quality stick grips and continue to bring new technology and ideas with each new grip design, regardless of sport. Alex Petrangelo, Akil Thomas, Max Domi, Aiden Hill, and Tim Stutzla are just a name of few who have proudly used Butt Ends for peak performance at the NHL level. Check them out at buttendswithaz.com and use our referral code buttends.com/discount/armchairgm to get 10% off your order as part of our community. Engineered for greatness and performance. Butt Ends, the #1 grip in hockey.
Fourth Wall is the official merchandise supplier of the Armchair GM Sports Network. Our user-friendly site is print to order with no minimum items or inventory needed, shipped right to your doorstep safely and efficiently from their North American warehouse. All of our logos are available to supporters, listeners, and viewers can have the best variety available to them for their swag preferences. All items are priced as low as possible, allowing everybody who wants to support our business with the opportunity to do so, receiving quality and comfortable products in return. Shop today at fourthwall.com with a direct link to our Armchair merch store in the description of all episodes and in the bio of all of our social media accounts. Become an Armchair GM today with Fourth Wall.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.
Welcome back to the OHL in 60 podcast. I'm Reece Doumani along with Colin Ward. Thanks so much for tuning in. Our first episode in a couple of weeks, thanks to Thanksgiving. But we've got a lot of topics to cover, and it continues right now. Jett Luchanko and Brady Martin. Of course, we're going to discuss that right now. The NHL Central Scouting released their list as well, so we'll touch on that. And then finish it up, as always, with the OHL Power Rankings. But, Colin, let's go to Jett Luchanko first.
Yep.
The Philadelphia Flyers organization. For people watching us, there's a tweet up on the screen. For people listening, we'll kind of read it out for you. So it's from Kevin Kurz. I hope I pronounced that right. My apologies, Kevin, if I didn't. But Flyers are still discussing and evaluating what to do with Jett Luchanko, who was a healthy scratch last night. This is a tweet from October 19th, by the way. That said, I think it's easy to see which way the winds are blowing here, that it's much more likely he returns to his junior team and probably sooner than later. This is where the AHL discussion comes into play, Colin.
Yep.
An older guy that probably doesn't need more development time at junior. The AHL could do him quite a bit of good for a full season, potentially next year as well, and then he's a full-time NHLer in 2 to 3 seasons. But for Guelph Storm, let's try to wrap the OHL around this, and not so much the Flyers. But with Jett Luchanko, the minute he comes back to the Guelph Storm, I think the Guelph Storm are going to need more phones. I think they're going to have to make a large investment in phones. I don't know how long Jett Luchanko's a Guelph Storm once he comes back.
And if obviously Philly's involved. So Philadelphia.
Oh, big time.
So if Philadelphia and the Guelph Storm relationship isn't a good one, well then, yeah, for sure. If it's a good relationship, I don't see them get moved to the deadline just with the way the bodies are there. But you never know. It'll depend on what the situation is from the NHL team and the NHL Hockey League relationship. But with a scratch like this, it comes into thought where we got to get a move on here. Like, you're going to waste part of the season. Like, you got to play games, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I hope that means that conversation comes soon. And obviously, wherever Luchanko lands, it would be a big fish available. And I would imagine, if they're going to host an M Cup, they have to move him. I don't know when it will be, but they have to if they're going to host an M Cup. He's not going to be around next year. But I'm definitely intrigued to see when it is. I feel like it can happen any day. It's funny when you get to those players that are on the bubble, like Luchanko, and I know the AHL situation being what it is, right? Like, it's tough, but their rosters are getting full too. So it'll be interesting to see when he comes back, what the situation's like, what his role is in Guelph.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what can happen. It's good for the league. You want this. As much as it's tough on the player, if you're a consumer of the OHL, this is the drama you want. This is the league. Every October, November, this is part of it. The elite players of the league are superstar players. That's why they're like, it's always going to happen. So it's going to be fun to see what happens here for sure.
So for a player like Luchanko, is the price higher now than if Guelph waits till the deadline? Or do you think it doesn't make a difference? It'll be the same.
At this rate, October 21st.
It's still a rental. Jett Luchanko's still a rental. He's not back next year. No chance. So it doesn't really matter when you get him. He's still going to be a rental. But does an extra month or two add value to a trade? Now, that's not taking into consideration a tournament that happens around the Christmas and New Year's time.
True.
That being called the World Juniors. So you lose some time there. I'm just curious your thoughts on the price now compared to the deadline for a rental, if there's any difference at all, or if it's the same from now until then.
It'd be a good GM question because you look at the past trades. Look at the Mason McTavish trade. He was gone for the Olympics too. He missed significant regular season time back with Hamilton when he got traded from Peterborough. But the playoff run, right? That's why you make it. That's why you make those moves. And it was a huge move that they made. I think Luchanko, I don't know if he's at that level of what McTavish was, but he's damn good. He's pretty good. I don't know. The return would be interesting. It's October 21st today. When it's hard to put it together. It's hard to put it together. When his move would look, is it before he goes off to World Junior Camp? Sometimes we see guys get moved in November. So it all depends if he has a serious trade request or not. Because then,
right,
and he's a first-round pick. Guelph will abide by where he wants to go, by his wants. They will. Teams do that unless you have a very bad relationship with a team, and I don't think this is a bad relationship by any means, but I just think it's going to have to turn into a business decision if they're actually serious about hosting the M Cup. They got to move this pick. He's their best asset to move. They have to make that move if they're serious about being good next year, and that's where teams that come in with draft picks, good prospects that can be 18, 19 years old next year, be veteran players next season, and contribute for the Guelph Storm for next season. And I don't know, like, he's going to miss time for sure when he comes back.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's a difference. I think in the summer it would have been huge for sure.
Yep.
Is it too late now to be the biggest? I don't know.
So, the summer I'm curious about. I feel like that's a big trade with a lot of conditions on draft
conditions
picks.
For sure.
Which is also, if Guelph wants a young player in return as well, along with those picks in the summer, does a team give up a player if it's not guaranteed that he comes back? So no, I think it's interesting. Like, you're right. He misses that full essentially month of December, early January, and then he's back right at the deadline, pretty much. I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think he's in as bad a situation as what Brady Martin might be in right now. But Jett Luchanko will be a high. It'll be a high price for whoever wins the bidding war. You could say so. Brady Martin. Is Nashville being dumb? Do they really have a plan that's going to make him a stud in the league that they really believe in? I don't know. We've got a tweet up on our screen here on the video portion of the show. Alex Doherty, again, apologies, Alex, if I screwed that one up. Asking if he thinks that Martin will be back in the league this week. And essentially the answer he got was, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, to seeing what happens, but no expectations, just taking it day by day. I don't know.
And
I don't know what to read into that.
I will.
What do you make of this, Colin?
First off, Nashville, I'm very upset with you healthy scratching him. After he played, healthy scratching him in Toronto and is closest to his hometown team. Like, got to play him there. You got to play him there. If you're going to scratch him the next games. Why are you going to play him and then scratch him against where you could have 40 family and friends from the farm there, you know? Like, I really disagree with that scratch there for sure. I don't know what to make of this. Like, I'm a firm believer, especially with Martin just being drafted first year in the system. He's a high pick for sure, but if he's not playing, he's got to come back. And that's why I wonder, and this is pure speculation. I know nothing about this. I'm just saying, like, the first thought I have in my brain when I think about this situation is, does Nashville not like his situation in Sioux? Like, Sioux's a good team that right now they're playing well, but like,
could be. I
mean, I've had disagreements with their coaching staff for the last 2-3 seasons for sure.
I don't think you're the only one either.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, do they disagree with what their plan is in Sioux? Like, I don't know. Like, usually, prototypically, they'd be back. I would expect he'd be back by now. So that's why I think it's odd. If you're not playing, why isn't he back? That's the only thing I can think of.
By Nashville doing this, it tells you it feels like he is not part of their plan this year.
No.
Brady Martin. He'll have no effect on what the Nashville Predators do this season. And with that statement, there's no reason for him to be a Nashville Predator this season. Sure, 9 games is cool, then get it done and over with. If he's not a part of the big picture this season, obviously he is in the future. He's drafted so high. But if he's not part of the big picture this season, what are we doing here? Seriously, what are we doing? Like, he's healthy. There's no reason for him to sit on his butt in the press box. Is he going to learn stuff? Maybe. Is he going to have a notepad out writing every single thing down? No.
The approach would be something to watch for sure.
Yeah, in Sault Ste. Marie, even if the situation isn't awesome, and again, we have no idea what the reason is, but he's still playing in the best junior league in the world.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what we're doing here. It makes zero sense. Realistically, and again, look into X or Twitter, however you want. There's a lot of people that aren't very happy about the way the Askarov situation was handled.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was drafted so high and, oh, no, I don't like him. We're going to trade him. I don't know if Barry Trotz said that, but I don't know. I don't want it to turn into another spot like that. Again, you drafted him so high. Make a decision. There's no reason to wait around. You've got to make a decision. You knew whether he was part of your plan this year before he showed up for training camp.
100%.
You knew what that was. So what are we doing here? It makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, no, I don't understand it either. I wish they'd make a decision. I don't think it's fair to the player. Once you get into this situation like this, I don't think it's fair to the player. You got a player, like eventually there comes a point in time
like
you can be living with Philip Forsberg all day, and I'm sure that's great. I would love that.
That'd be
living
awesome.
with Philip
Yeah.
Forsberg to learn from him. That'd be awesome. But eventually it gets old after a while. So especially now when you get 20 games into the season, it's like, well, what are we doing here, right? Like
Yep.
OHL, like we're 10 games in. Like we're
Yeah.
10 games in already. There's almost 50 games to go. Like,
Yep.
we gotta make a decision here.
Yeah.
So you imagine he comes back, he only gets 50 games in the O. I mean, that's it's a season, but
Yeah.
that's another 10 games too. But
it's a lot easier to work on things that your NHL club wants you to, for a full season. It's very hard to do that sitting in the press box.
we hear
And
about
yes,
process.
you can work on your skills at practice, but you got to be able to properly simulate a game environment, and it's hard to do that not in a game. I don't know. I'm not the brightest guy in the world, and I'll admit it, but that seems like our Captain Obvious key to the week.
Yeah.
To play and get better in game situations, you have to play in game situations. I don't know. Seems pretty obvious to me. I'm wondering if this is a coaching decision or if it's a Barry Trotz decision. And then we're going to reference a movie, Moneyball, where you've got Billy Bean wanting to do one thing. You've got the manager wanting to do another thing.
Yeah.
I hope it's not that. Your GM and
that's
coach
tough.
better be on the same page. But who knows?
Yeah.
We have no idea. And it
Yeah,
sucks. It's frustrating. Sioux fans, they buy tickets because Brady Martin's on the team.
Yeah.
Like that's a reason to go watch the Sioux Greyhounds play. It's because Brady Martin's going to be in the lineup.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I agree. I agree 100%. It should be, and it'll be fun to see what happens there. Like I say, I feel bad for the kid after a while. I know personally, after a while, it's going to get old about, staying with the Forsbergs, hearing all this stuff talked about you, after a while, that's tough to hear. But I hope that he gets to go back to Sioux if he does, or whatever works best for him. That's what I hope for. And it'd be cool to see him go to Sioux, light it up. The Greyhounds had a good start to the season. They got potential there. He comes back. You look at their team. I mean, all of a sudden they're a contender in the West. So it'll be fun to see what can happen there.
Yeah. All right. To the NHL Central Scouting. The NHL Central Scouting has released their preliminary players to watch list. 92 OHLers included on that list. Again, for people not familiar with how it works, A rating indicates a first-round candidate. A B rating, about a second or third rounder. C rating, 4th/5th, and then a W rating would be a 6th or 7th round candidate. So it includes 54 OHL forwards, 24 defensemen, and 14 goaltenders. And I'll just kind of run through the 9 A skaters from the Ontario Hockey League. So from the Spitfires, it's Ethan Belches, Sarnia Sting, Alessandro Diorio, Kitchener Rangers, Oscar Hemming. Can we call him Kitchener Rangers, Oscar Hemming, even though he's not a Kitchener
That's a
Ranger
boss
right
situation
now?
there.
Yeah, that's
kind
of old news, but yeah, we'll leave it there. Nikita Klepov of the Saginaw Spirit, Caleb Malhotra of the Brantford Bulldogs, Adam Novotny from the Peterborough Petes, Chase Reed of the Sioux Greyhounds, Brooks Rogowski of the Oshawa Generals, and Ryan Robrick from the Niagara Ice Dogs. Colin, your thoughts on this list for the NHL Central Scouting, these 92 skaters?
Yeah, 92 skaters. That's always a good
Or players, I should say.
Yeah, always. Yeah, no, I mean it's expected that many in the Ontario Hockey League. It's the best draft. It's the best in the draft for a reason. Each and every year, the OHL, and it's one of the it's one of the beauties seeing the draft year process. I wish there was a returning player that was on this list, but I don't want to get too Bulldog centric, and I don't want to get any negative press from the outside fans.
Josh Avery?
That. No, Cooper Dennis.
Okay. Josh Avery could be a part of this too, but
yeah, Josh Avery should be on this list as well.
No,
Josh Avery for sure. I mean, what he's done in Brampton, point in every game. Like,
yeah, yep.
No, I agree with you on that one too. Like, I mean, I guess we have 92. Like,
yeah, right. Yeah.
Like, if 92 players got drafted to the OHL, that'd be a damn good year. I mean, there's gonna be a lot. So I'm excited to see what can happen.
Yep, absolutely. And to wrap up the show, as we always do, it is time to get to the power rankings in the Ontario Hockey League. We've got a new number one, and it's the Brantford Bulldogs. But we'll go through everything else first. So the Peterborough Petes up into the rankings. They're number 16 as they move up one spot. Guelph Storm drop a spot to number 15. Brampton down one spot to 14. Flint Firebirds move up 3. They're number 13. Barrie Colts down 1. They swap spots with the Generals. They're 12. The Oshawa Generals up 1 to number 11. North Bay Battalion don't move. They're number 10. Ice Dogs fall a spot. They switch with London. Ice Dogs are 9. London is 8. Ottawa down 1 to number 7. Kingston up 1 to number 6. Kitchener, Sault Ste. Marie, Owen Sound do not move. Kitchener 5, Sault 4, and Owen Sound 3. Spitfires drop a spot, and the Brantford Bulldogs move up a spot to number 1. I saw something on social media today. I can't remember the account, who it was. It might have been Sting Updates. Sarnia Sting, should they be in the top 16 for collecting 3 out of 4 points against the Windsor Spitfires?
Yes. Absolutely.
I think so.
100%. I agree. No, I agree with that one for sure. As the Toronto Blue Jays tie it, as we are live Dalton Varsho big base hit to tie the game in the first. But yeah, no, I agree. 100%. Like, yeah, they just went with one of the best toe-to-toes with one of the best teams in the CHL, not the OHL, the CHL. Yeah. Absolutely, they should be ranked. They got 3 out of possible 4 points. They are ranked 100%. From this rankings, then, if they get 1 more point, they get 4 points. They win both games. They're still not ranked. What's the difference between 3 and 4 in that situation? 1-0-1. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
But hey, that's the point of the power rankings. It creates discussion, and it clearly worked there. So get on that, I guess. It created discussion, right? But no, absolutely, they deserve to be ranked.
Yeah. It was a Facebook comment, by the way. Although Sting Updates, I think he does a really good job. So we'll give a shout out to him covering the Sarnia Sting. But let's go to our top 5. Colin Ward, you get things started with our number 5.
Yeah, I gotta get my list out here. 5. So I have a tie for 5th.
Okay.
It was too close. It was too close for comfort in this one. And I know it was an ugly one, but you go 7-2-0-1 in your last 10 in Kingston. You go 6-3-1 in your last 10 in Kitchener. Tied for 5th, Kingston Kitchener.
All right. I've got 5 alone, and it's the Kingston Frontenacs at number 5. Yeah, they've won a couple of games in the row. The penalty kill is really, really good for the Frontenacs, and they are a very disciplined team. Just 81 penalty minutes, which is just 1 more than the Ottawa 67s. Those are the only 2 teams under 100 penalty minutes, by the way. I don't know if that's out of the ordinary for just 10 to 12 to 13 games in.
Troy Man, Dave Cameron hockey.
Big time. Absolutely. So that's a big part of winning. If you're winning, that means you're not taking a lot of penalties and not seeing a lot of kills in games. So the Kings Frontenac's number 5 for me. Who's number 4, Colin?
4 for me, the Sioux Greyhounds. I know their last 10 wasn't as good, but right now you look at where Sioux is. You look at their potential of where I had them at the beginning of the year. I know their goals differential and balls in their court to stay in this power rankings because this could be an easy flip-flop. But for right now, the Sioux Greyhounds. I like the way they're playing. I know their numbers don't look good, but I watched them play, and they look a lot better watching them than what their numbers look like. Their goals for and against, I know their numbers are what they are, but I take that out of consideration when I watch them play this week.
Yeah. Number 4 for me, London Knights. They're back.
Remember when they didn't have a win?
Yeah. That was wild.
Points in 7 straight.
Yeah. They're rolling. They're well into my power rankings, and they're probably going to stay there the rest of the year. So London Knights, number 4. Who's number 3 for you, Wardy?
3 for me. I mean, similar to Sioux, they've been playing great this year. It'll be interesting if they keep going, but hey, you got to give them their flowers. They had a great training camp. They've come together as a great group. They play hard. The Owen Sound attack. Owen Sound's deserving of this. They could be number 2. If they have a good week this week, they'd be your number 2 team right now. Also, probably be my number 1 then if they have a good week. How close it is early on in the year. Owen Sound, without a doubt, is my 3rd team.
Yeah. I've got Owen Sound as well. Their special teams have been really, really good to start the year. It just continues. They're one of 3 teams with a power play percentage over 30%. Those other 2 teams, the Windsor Spitfires and Brantford Bulldogs. And Owen Sound's actually got a better power play than Windsor statistically, 2%, which isn't a ton. Windsor's penalty kill a little bit better, but penalty's a little bit of an issue for Owen Sound. They've got 192 penalty minutes so far on the year. That is number 1 in the Ontario Hockey League. So that's not an awesome stat to be leading, but Owen Sound's leading the division right now. That's all they're going to care about. So the Owen Sound attacker, number 3 for me.
That's Midwest hockey.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then who's number 2?
2 for me, the Windsor Spitfires. Obviously, first in the conference. They're first in the league right now, 21 points. Tough loss to Sarnia, but Sarnia played great in that game. That could be the best game of their season. When you look back at Sarnia's year, man, they're going to look back and they could be like, hey, that was a game that really changed us to be a contender this year.
Right.
That put us on the right track. But Windsor Spitfires, I like their defense. I like their size. They do take penalties for sure, but I like their size. They're a highly skilled team. Right now, they're 1A and 1B in the tops of the Ontario Hockey League, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'm with you as well on that. Power play's 3rd in the OHL. Their penalty kill is 1st in the Ontario Hockey League. They've given up the least amount of goals in 27. Least amount in the Western Conference. I'll rephrase that. Least amount of goals allowed in the entire OHL is the Ottawa 67. So, but the Spitfires it's neck and neck between them and Brantford. Just Brantford had a better weekend, which I think kind of tells us who number 1 is for both of us. So, Colin, you have honors.
Yeah, Brantford Bulldogs. It's a 1A, 1B situation, and they're just the 1A right now with Windsor. The Brantford Bulldogs, to me, number 1 team right now in the Ontario Hockey League.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. They've got the most goals for right now at 61. They have not lost in regulation either. So, it'll be interesting. I think we're starting to see the landscape of the OHL start to play out that we thought, minus Owen Sound. I think for the Owen Sound attack, people expected them to be at the bottom. I'd say that's the one thing that's really surprised people. Maybe Ottawa too. I shouldn't include that. I should include them because a lot of people had Ottawa in a similar spot, maybe worse than the Owen Sound attack. But other than that, we're starting to see, who we thought was going to be good and who we thought wasn't going to be very good. Brantford near the top. I had Niagara to win their division. They're at the top. Kingston still has guys. They're at the top as well. Sudbury's at the bottom. Brampton, not an awesome weekend for the Steelheads, although to pick up a win on the back end of a 3-3 after allowing 16 goals in 2 games, and then you win 7-2. That's a big bounce back.
Well, that's a good sign.
London's starting to get back to where where we're used to seeing them. Kitchener is well in the mix near the top. Windsor, of course, being very good. I'd say it's starting to even out and start to play out the way we thought it would. Again, still a few outliers there that I missed as well, but it's been a fun start to the year. I can't believe it's almost the end of October. That's kind of wild, but quickly, Colin, before we wrap up the show, what are your thoughts on Tuesday, October 21st about the OHL landscape right now?
I think there's a lot of parity in the league right now. I think there's teams that are playing where they were projected to be for sure. I think we're seeing the Owen Sound. I mean, the write-offs early on in the year, you look at their goaltending situation, you look at their team, maybe they're better on paper than what people think. So that's one positive for the Owen Sound attack. A lot of parity in the league, right? Between when you look from the second, when you look in the East, you look at some of the divisional play there, like Niagara, Barrie, North Bay, like that division, man. Like each week something could change. Like it's a lot of parity in the Eastern Conference. The West is still sorting things out. We knew London was going to get hot eventually. I know there's a lot of people that are upset, and they're going to remember to hang the banner when they started off, whatever it was, 0-3, whatever. The hang their banner that they
0-4.
Yeah, 0-4. Hang the banner when they were 0-4. Remember that moment because they're back. And all things considered, honestly, with the London Knights, kind of figured them they'd be at least fighting for home ice in the first round. I mean, Medvedev, Brestevich, and Reed going at it, by the way, and on the game. That was pretty cool. Stage fight for sure. Just the first shift of the game, but you look at that. You look at the league right now, and the parity looks good for early on in the year. We're a month into the season, and there's been a lot of surprises. There hasn't been surprises, and it's right kind of where we expected.
Absolutely. So another week of action coming up. Rivalry week is in the books, and we're going to continue on throughout this week, and then we'll be back to chat again. So to everybody that watched on the Armchair GM Sports Network YouTube page, we appreciate it as always. It's tough to look at us, we know, but we hope that we can
going on in the back.
Yeah, right.
I'm stressing.
And then there's me with a Tiger sign in the background, and they're not even in yet or anymore. So no, we appreciate it as always, of course. And then wherever you're listening, thank you so much for listening and enjoy the action this weekend. It's going to be another great weekend around the Ontario Hockey League. So for Colin Ward, BC, I'm Reece Doumani. We will chat again on the OHL in 60 podcast in 7 days.
You're listening to the Armchair GM Sports Network.